Okay, so we're gonna be doing a quick reaction to what you can do when Uber Eats and DoorDash are slow. Um, I assume that there's gonna be some tidbits on what it is that some drivers have been doing to make sure that they're able to still do things when Uber Eats is slow, and then I'll give my take and see if we can come up with some other solutions that can help people out. So let's see what they gotta say.
Summer slowdown, oversaturation. If you're a DoorDash driver or really any gig app driver, you want to watch part two of what I think we should be doing and how to prepare ourselves for a slowdown. Mr. Bet on You, Pedro DoorDash Santiago, back at you with the rideshare guy. Now that's the beautiful arch you just saw. I do DoorDash, Uber, and some Instacart in St. Louis, Missouri. Typically a very good market, pretty busy market, but I've noticed some changes, and I want to talk to you guys in this part two of a couple videos of oversaturation, slowdown, and what you can do to kind of be prepared because it's coming for many of you drivers. So if you've noticed in the last few weeks, if your market seems to be getting a little bit slower, it is seasonal. So in many markets, it's getting nicer outside. In many markets, DoorDash has added a lot of drivers. So your pocketbook might be hurting a little bit. So I'm going to give you guys a few things to do proactively before it really gets slow for some of you guys. Now, the easy things, and we've all heard it and talked about it, yeah, get multiple apps, blah, 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 try Uber, try Instacart. That's the that's the easy stuff. Okay, we all kind of know that you want to.
In my personal opinion, that's not the easy part, and I'll tell you guys why. One of the reasons why I don't necessarily agree with the idea that getting multiple apps is the way to go is because what I was able to learn, and this was pretty much a little bit before, but also majority of during the time when I was the most active delivering, is that the whole game of money is about an exchange of value, and oftentimes, putting your time into actively working, it has its upsides, but then it also takes a lot of energy to be able to maintain this type of thing. So if you're doing things like multiple apps, all you're doing is you're increasing the amount of things that you can put a lot of time into, and the game isn't actually meant for you to put in a lot of time. The game is actually meant for you to put in time so that you're able to get um, experience, and then you use that experience to kind of further different things. So that can be things like consulting, coaching, things of that nature. Because you being inside these specific areas, you'll have a better idea of how to navigate these areas for other up and comers who are looking to do the job. But being involved inside the game for past a couple of months where you've really gotten to understand how to make things work, I don't recommend putting a lot of time into all these other apps because you you're basically subjecting yourself to burnout, and or you're putting more mileage and more cost in terms of gas and repairs and stuff like that on your vehicle. So you want to kind of move away from constantly being in your vehicle. It's a beautiful thing. I would recommend doing it just to keep yourself kind of more out and about, so you don't get bogged down with staying at home all the time. But I'd recommend that you do actually convert a lot of things into like a business aspects of things, where as you're doing things again like consulting, you're you're helping people out that are also trying to learn how to make money in this sphere, and then you yourself can make money from doing things like this, as well as doing things on more of a passive basis. So being passive means that you're able to make money essentially while you sleep. um, when when you do things for passive income, it means that you spend a lot less time actively working, and because you're spending less time actively working, you can you can create multiple streams of income rather than having multiple jobs. The job is always typically active working, which if you ever tried having more than one job, you end up realizing pretty quick that it's easy to get tired. Whereas if you have passive income, even though you still have to do some work, most of the work is done up front, and then everything else kind of comes in, whether you're sleeping, whether you're away. You just have to do maybe a few things here and there every now and then you're able to still be able to collect quite a good income. As you stack more and more of passive incomes, then it makes things a lot easier, and it makes it a lot easier to attain wealth, or just to have a more comfortable lifestyle than you would if you're constantly being out on the road. So just thought I'd put that out there.
Have multiple options to cast a wider net. Well, let's dig a little deeper. When and if you start seeing the oversaturation, the slowdown, you turn an app on, it's like, man, this thing hasn't gone off for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or if you're seeing, man, I'm seeing a lot of bad orders at peak lunchtime, peak dinner time, it can start to get a little frustrating, a little worrisome. The first thing you can do to impact yourself in a positive way is remind yourself of this. A dollar is a dollar. So if your market is getting slower for whatever reason, the first thing you can do is personally control the money that you're spending while you're either out doing gig work, whether it's you're buying sodas and energy drinks and you're doing this and maybe you're driving too much, you're putting more fuel in your car, you're overspending, taking away the money while you're doing gig work. A dollar is a dollar. So watching your spending habits during the seasonal slowness, oversaturation, will help you keep some of the money that you have. So packing a lunch, bringing snacks, bringing something from home will save you money. The second option I'm going to have for some of you might seem a little crazy, but follow me. When we turn on that DoorDash app, we see red, we see very busy sometimes, we see peak pay, and those things can be good, but sometimes when you see very busy or you see peak pay, a lot of drivers go to that zone. Maybe even if they're a zone or two away, they'll drive there, especially new ones. Ooh, because I wanna get that peak pay. Oh, I see it's very busy. I'm gonna make more money, right? So that could really even double the oversaturation issue you have. Now, if you're somebody that if you can dash now for whatever reason on the DoorDash app, whether you're a top dasher or you've done enough shopping pay orders, maybe try a different zone. If you could dash in a zone that's gray, you might be able to make money over there if there's less DoorDash drivers. Because the red and the busy and all that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money and it's busy. That's just DoorDash trying to filter you in a zone that might be busy, and it doesn't mean that the orders are good. Try a different zone. Try to dash somewhere where maybe it doesn't appear to be busy. Maybe the area is different, but you might have better opportunities in that area. Try.
I like what he just said there. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of people who either aren't seasoned in the scope of gig work, or maybe they just don't know about it, even if they've been in the game for a while, is sometimes it's the position that you're in that makes it a little bit more difficult to get orders. Because depending on who you speak to, some people say that the orders are good, some people say that the orders aren't necessarily flowing in the way that they want them to be. Sometimes you got to pivot, and what that means is maybe you're on a street that has plenty of workers that are also doing the same thing as you. So if you move over a street or a couple of streets, it might actually affect it in a different way. Sometimes maybe that specific area of the city you're in is not busy, or it has too many workers, so you need to go and be able to navigate to a different part of the city. If you do these type of things, you can kind of gauge as to where it is that things work. What I like to do is I like to take kind of a mental note or a screenshot, or just somehow make a note of where it is that I was delivering from and to at certain times. And by doing that, it kind of gives me an idea of where it is that there's been successes. And if I want to repeat some of these successes, I can go back to those same areas at similar times, either the next day or the next week or the next month, to kind of give me an idea of where it is that I can go. But to take it a step further, sometimes the place that you're in, the town, maybe even the city, just isn't busy enough for what it is that you're trying to achieve. Sometimes you may need to go and do some traveling, and luckily enough, in some of these platforms, specifically Uber Eats, they allow you to actually travel to a different city. So if you find that you're not getting enough in one city, you may be up for a road trip over to another city where you can go and test your luck out in one of the more compact cities, or should I say more densely populated cities, like a metropolis, right? The bigger cities, you got your Torontos, your New York cities, your Montreals, your your LAs. Bigger cities tend to have more people who are going to need more service, right? There's more opportunities, more people that you can deal with, things of that nature. So that's something you want to take into consideration. And also think about it this way: there may be things in other cities that you want to also be able to experience that are outside of just a working principle that you can also partake in if you decide to go that route, right? So work-life balance, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any way to say that there is any such thing as work-life balance, is you want to be able to find the opportunities within the opportunities, and this is one of the ways you can do it: is take it upon yourself to say, okay, you know what, I'm willing to travel to a different city to see how things are, and if need be, I can go work there for a little bit to see how things are, because there may be other opportunities as well. And we'll get into that because there's quite a bit of content that I really want to share with you guys. That's gonna show you guys how to elevate the game for yourselves. There's really no there's nothing necessarily blocking you. It may take a bit to get started, but there's nothing actually blocking you from getting the type of lifestyle that you necessarily want, at least to a degree. Like there are a lot of freedoms that not everybody's aware of, and that's the reason why I wanna bring this out to the forefront. So if you guys want to see the rest of this, because it's only 6 minutes long, you guys see where it's at. So the rideshare guy, what can you do when Uber Eats and DoorDash are slow? So if you want to check out the rest of the video, then you can see that there. This gentleman seems like he knows quite a bit based upon what he's seen on his travels. So shout outs to the rideshare guy and all of the individuals that make that channel what it's supposed to be, as a good resource for other people as well. But I definitely wanted to bring that in because I personally like to look at Uber as what it is it's an opportunity, and within that opportunity I found out that there's plenty of other opportunities you can take. So Uber is a way to provide services to people, but within those services you can also provide other services as well. And oftentimes some of the biggest successes that you'll find with companies in general is that the reason why they're so successful is because they provide value that leads into other value. So if you're doing food delivery, you can provide value to the same people that you're delivering to by offering them something complimentary. Like, let's say for example, if they ordered McDonald's and then you ordered them an extra milkshake of the same milkshake that they were getting, they may value something like that. Am I saying that that's something you should do? Not necessarily, but that is something you can do. It's complimentary because they're already ordering something. If they're already ordering that specific milkshake, it most likely is because that they enjoy that milkshake, or somebody will be enjoying that milkshake who you're going to be delivering to, right? So you're providing value, but it doesn't have to be that it doesn't have to be that deep. It can be just in general an opportunity to get more food, or it can be something that would be kind of like an icing on the top. Let's say for example, if they buy a McFlurry, a Smartie McFlurry, and you give them a box of Smarties to go on with it. So if they want, they can add on extra Smarties. It's just the little tiny things that you can add extra, but even then you don't have to go that deep. There's some people they give some of the customers candies or mints, and oftentimes if you go into restaurants, these are the same type of ideas that people are able to use in order to provide a quality service. And oftentimes those same people who provide these services are able to get compensated quite well by way of tips and things of that nature. Higher reviews and recommendations from the eaters. So that's what I want you to think about. But you still don't even have to go to that level. Think about what happens when you see something like a newspaper. If you ever had newspaper delivered to you, or if you even go to one of the newspaper boxes, you go and get yourself a newspaper, and when you open it up, you see different articles, you see endless pages of different things, sometimes comics. But what's another thing that you can find in newspapers sometimes? You'll find pamphlets, flyers, coupons. These are other ways of providing value because it shows the customers opportunities that they either may not have been aware of, or it might give them opportunities to try out some of these opportunities with less risk than they'd have if they didn't have, say, a coupon, or finding out about certain opportunities through a pamphlet or flyer. These are things that I want you guys to take into consideration. So if by any chance you have an opportunity that you're privy to, that you want to be able to share with customers, you can give a little loot bag or a pamphlet or a flyer that highlights that opportunity for your customers. And by doing that, one, you're providing value, which is most likely going to make the customer a little bit more happy. But then two, because you're providing them value in one way, and especially if you're able to help them save money in one way, then it almost opens up the door for them to be more likely to tip you on a better scale, because they were going to spend the money anyway. If you hadn't given them that opportunity, but that's an opportunity that they were interested in, they were going to go spend that money with the opportunity anyway, just not necessarily with you. So by you giving them an opportunity to do that, okay, well, you know what, I was going to go spend that money anyways on whatever that opportunity was. Now you're kind of doing things to a higher degree. So I hope you guys are starting to kind of like the light bulbs are kind of going off. So let's take it to an even bigger uh, or an even a better way of looking at things. If you specifically provide a service, let's say for example, you are a handyman by trade, or a service woman by trade who does things like plumbing, drywalling. It doesn't even have to be specifically trades. It could just be there's some form of service or product that you offer outside of doing food delivery or ride share. You can offer a glimpse into getting that service done by you or just in general, but hopefully it's by you, so that you can kind of maximize the amount of value that not only are you giving but you're also getting. You provide an opportunity to get kind of like a sample or a discount off of these services if you do a good enough service while delivering the food, or by driving the passenger to where they need to be. Then you're basically proving that you're good enough at one service, so that maybe you'll be good enough at another service. It's pretty much common practice for somebody to assume that if you give them good service in one way, that you'll give them good service in another way. So if you are somebody who is good at fixing things and you have a service, you can pass on a flyer, a pamphlet, or a coupon that gives somebody the opportunity to get their to get that same service done by you or by somebody within the same company. And then by doing so, if you are hired for the other service, then you've basically you've maximized your opportunity for an income. And usually those services are going to pay you a lot more than you'd find if you were to just be delivering or doing rideshare, right? So I hope this is really kind of helping you guys understand where it is that you need to be going. Is use the service the way it can be, and that's by allowing you to elevate certain things. Elevate yourself, elevate the customer, exchange of value. So you want to be giving them opportunities to receive more value, and by them receiving more value from you, you're also going to receive value back. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that really helped you guys understand a little bit more about what it is that you can do in this economy. Nobody should really feel bogged down about anything specifically, because there's plenty of things that people need and or want that you can provide. But if you don't know that that's an opportunity, or if you don't know of these opportunities, then you can't necessarily use them. So I'm happy to be able to share that with you guys, and hopefully you can do something with this. If you guys have any ideas as to what it is that you specifically do outside of Uber that you want to share, so that I can hopefully tailor things a little bit more tailored towards you, or what it is that you plan on providing, then we can do that as well. So just give me a shout out in the comment section, and let me know what it is that you do outside of Uber, and we'll see how it is that we can tailor that. And if you have any other ideas that you want to discuss, leave them in the comment section as well. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed.